City. If that had been Homeboy Koresh in there, instead of this Seventh-day Adventist white person surrounded by other white, nice, moderate people from Waco, that he would have been gone in 48 hours, right after he shot the FBI agents. If it had been Muslims with 8,000 pounds of ammunition sitting in a building in Texas or anywhere else, we would have been gone long before 57 days. We'd have shot 4 FBI agents, and that would have been the end of it. They'd have blown us to kingdom come. These are serious concerns that exist here, and that concern me as much as the situation in Iraq or as much as Bosnia, in more ways because I have children here to protect. And this is a very serious issue, and I think this group, which is obviously very ecumenical, needs to very quickly get its act together, because in New York right now, for instance, the Christian right has made a major move on the school boards to take over the school board. They've already managed to get Jose Fernandez fired. They're moving quickly. It is a major movement made by these people to take the school boards. And I agree with Dr. Badawi. It'd be wonderful to have a nice prayer, a rather ecumenical prayer, teaching of values. But in this country, as I told Lois earlier, the squeaky wheel gets the grease. The louder you are, the more attention they pay to you. And the Christian right is very good at being loud. Especially if you're politically organized, and we are not. The National Council of Churches has done a great deal of good work. I get most of their publications, but we need to do a lot more to protect one another, because the Christian right won't be any happier with you than they are with us. So those of us thinking very liberally here need to come together very quickly.
Well, let's, I don't know that I have a mic here, but let's open it up for questions from the audience here.
Can you hear us? Can you hear me? Leave it here so that. Okay. Can you hear me? My name is Ali. I'm an Iranian-born, non-practicing Muslim for 20 years in the U.S. Since second grade elementary school, I've been raised in American schools. And since Bosnia, I've become very interested in Islam. Before making a point on a more general issue, I would like to respond to the sister. Am I referring to you correctly?
Anything.
Okay. You pointed out what happened in Iraq, 150,000 people slaughtered, and that is why you are hesitant about the U.S. going into Bosnia. I respectfully reject your misinformation. There are women and children being slaughtered. The U.S., France, and England, the leaders of the civilized world, went to the UN and tied the hands of the Bosnian Muslims behind their backs, and now they are being slaughtered. They went to the UN and they put an arms embargo on all of Yugoslavia, and to assume that the intelligence services of the West did not know where those arms were sitting is rather painful for me. I cannot assume that. The leaders of the civilized world knew very well what they were doing. I have been very proud of being an American that has been shaken now since Bosnia.
What would you suggest they do?
I'm not in a position to suggest that the American government do anything.
Why not?
I'm not in a position. I don't know. However, I do see, as the brothers pointed out, hypocrisy and double standards applied. As a child, I lived in Iraq. My father was a diplomat. He worked for the Shah's government for 36 years. And then I saw what happened to Iran. And I stayed here in the U.S. I have personal experience with the Middle East. I do believe that Saddam Hussein it applies, the butcher of Baghdad. I have no sympathies for him. I don't believe he should have gone and conquered Kuwait, no problem there whatsoever. However, the U.S. response, not waiting for sanctions, it's something I noticed. And also, why did the U.S., the leader of the civilized world, need to destroy the economy of Iraq? Why did they need to drop foil bombs on power plants? That only causes the complete destruction of the power grid. That power was supplying water to children. And why did they not get Saddam Hussein? These are questions I have. What do I think they should do in Bosnia? Number one, they should not have tied the hands of the Bosnians.
But now, what?
I don't know. I'm not in a position to tell the U.S. or the Western world what to do.
No, we really have to get out. I mean, there's a story going on at 8 o'clock. And so we could carry on in
What if you could
Dr. Vogler, there is a suggestion to continue this for another 20 minutes and conclude. Can I do that? I see.
So that makes it also informal, so that we take your...
So let's say you move up into the lounge there.
Sure. Yes.
I think the discussion towards the end became highly politicized. I would have some element of that would be fine. Very good point a little off track.
Everything is political anyway.
Thank you so much.
Even the air we breathe.
But I would like also the point in some questions.
Once the truth becomes a casualty, that we're all at risk. And I just couldn't, stand. I'm not one to come up and speak, but I could not stand sitting there without saying anything when I see and when I hear misinformation.
Thank you. Would someone that you'd like to respond?
Not as much to respond. I think he made his point very well and he elaborated on his feelings. Most of us probably share the same feelings with regards to the atrocities of Bosnia. However, I'd like to take another spin on the discussion of minorities and again bring it closer to home here with a couple of stories that I'd like to relate. I had a friend of mine who has been in this country for over 25 years. He's an engineer. He's been working for a company for over 22 years of his stay in the United States, and he was laid off in the past recession, which probably continues. He looked all over for a job, and he went to an employment agency, and the person that was taking care of his resume and his file at that company told him frankly that he is, the power that he's up against, and he said that you have a handicap. And the man looked at himself and he said, I'm not handicapped, I'm physically fit, I don't smoke, drink, this, that, or other. And I told him that your name serves as a handicap. His first name is Muhammad, and he said that if you put a different name, at least a different first name, other than what you have, he was very frank with him. And he was an American, of the Anglo-Saxon community, if you will. So that was a shocking statement to make to that particular individual. Another story that I'd like to probably also equally relevant is I work in a company that can be considered a very liberal environment, a research and development blue chip kind of company, and I work as a computer scientist. And one of the programs that they had, to the extent of being as liberal as they are, was just a meeting just like this on women in Islam.